Hi, Gabby.
Hi,
Nice to
Kevin.
see you.
Good to see you too.
How are you this week?
Oh, I'm fine. You know, oh gosh, we just had midterms. Yeah, and I'm in like all these like bio class, I have a chemistry class, I'm in this like composition class, and I literally had like a test like every single day this past week, and my brain is just so tired. I didn't know college was gonna be this hard. Oh my gosh.
Wow, so you had a lot of tests this week. How do you think you did?
You know, I like really studied for bio because I wasn't the best at bio in high school, and um, and I studied a little bit for chem, but I really should have listened to all the advice. You know, senior year, like just graduating senior year, and people telling me like chemistry is like the hardest class, and it is like kicking my butt right now. So hoping that went well, and then comp. You know, I like writing, but I'm okay at it. So like I think it went okay. We were talking about like authors and just their different writing styles. So like I studied that. I had a group study, and so I think that went well. Those are like through the tests, and then the two other classes that I have were just essays. So that was totally fine, like having time to do that. But yeah, like the two science classes were probably my hardest. I like after I took those tests, I went and took like a 3 hour nap just to get a break. So.
All right, so Gabby, last session you talked about having some issues with your peers in your study groups. You mentioned that you use study groups again for the tests that you were preparing for this week. How was your interactions with your peers this week?
You know, like with this study group, like it's been um it was fine. You know, like I studied with like three people. Two of them were guy friends of mine. One of them was a girl, and like it was fine. Like they didn't really seem like too excited to study. They were kind of complaining about the tests and stuff, and they were late to the study group session. Even though I was there like 20 minutes early, like setting and prepping and everything, and so it was interesting. Like it didn't really seem like that they like wanted to be there or talk, even though I was like excited to spend time with them, even if it was just studying. So it was kind of hard. Um, but with like other friends and stuff, like my roommate and I are like okay, you know, like I love going home and like talking to her and being like, oh my gosh, like I just want to talk to her about my bio class and my chemistry class and like everything, and then like she just puts in her headphones and stuff, so I don't really get to talk to her a lot. And then like with I've made a few friends, but like I don't know, like it's just hard sometimes because like some people don't really like seem like that they have time to talk to me, or they're sitting on the other side of the room, or um, I don't know. It's just been harder because like where I don't know if it's like where I choose to sit in class because I like to sit like on the side, you know, in a corner area just so I can like get out of the class and go to my next class, and so I don't really get to like interact with a lot of people. So I'm just kind of doing a lot of things by myself. Like I go and eat lunch by myself, I go and eat dinner by myself, and I mainly study by myself. And I like try to go and talk to people, but um, it's just like people have their friends already. And like being a freshman, there's so many people to know, and I'm just like, where do I start? And so with like my study group, I was excited, you know, to talk to them and everything. But then like they're like sophomores or juniors, and like one senior who's taking the chem class, like they don't really like care, and so they've already had their friends. So I'm just kind of like feeling like alone in that, you know. So it's been a little harder.
So you said your study group was fine.
Mm-hmm.
What words would you use to describe your perfect study group?
I would say like if people got there like on time, like ready to go, and then if they had like a good attitude about it, like I think if they were like excited and like talked positively about it, and then like if they wanted to stay and chat and like talk about things aside from class, like actually talk about life, like I think that would be fun. And then like really feeling like empowered and like this is going well rather than it turning into a complaining session. I think like that would be fun, and like feeling smarter afterward would be great.
So it sounds like you would like the people in your study groups to be more like yourself. Positive, easy to get along with, a talker.
I hadn't even thought of that before. Yeah, I think like that makes sense. Just because like I don't know, it's so much easier that way. Everyone's so different. Oh my gosh.
So Gabby's raised the easier way.
I don't know about that, but it could be that way. But no, I see what you're saying now. Like my way isn't always perfect. Like I'm not perfect or anything. Like I'm very like yeah, but I think it's just easier sometimes because I see it a certain way, and then like I don't communicate it or whatever, and then just like everyone is so different, so I think I like forget that, and then I'm like hoping that people will know me even though they don't know me, they don't know me yet.
So have you expressed your feelings about people's lackadaisical attitudes towards the study group to the other members of the group, or are you holding them in?
I think like I've tried to talk to one of the group people, like the girl, like I think her and I like have bonded a little bit more, but we've kind of talked about it, and like I think we're more on the same page. I think it's just the guys that just don't really care as much, and like I've tried to talk to them. I think because I'm such like I'm a freshman, they see me differently than like anything else, so I think it makes it a little harder to communicate that. But aside from that, like I don't know, I think the girl and I have like gotten along well because she's a sophomore, but the other two are like a junior and senior. So I think because they're more used to college and they're just trying to get this to continue and graduate on time, like since I'm just starting, like there's so much to learn, and so that's like I think that's why I'm more excited. So I want to communicate that with them. But I think the senior, one of the things he mentioned in the study group was he was counting down the days till graduation, and then the junior was like struggling with all these other classes, so they have a lot going on, whereas like I have so much free time, so it's hard to communicate how I'm feeling because I don't want to add to their stress or like add to the situations that they're in.
So if you could communicate anything to them, what would you say?
I would probably try to like encourage them to think more positively, I think, or maybe just taking 5 minutes and just really talking to them and just letting them kind of vent and get it all out, and maybe just like trying to be a better friend rather than trying to study. Maybe like I don't know, because if I was in that boat, like I'd want someone to take 5 minutes before studying and just talk everything out because I love talking, but like just kind of like doing all that so then it's not like a continual thing during the study session. So I think like what that would look like would be maybe just encouraging them and trying to be be an example, I guess, like a positive example, even if they aren't, just so it kind of could motivate them, maybe, or just or like talking to them and just being intentional about asking how their day is going or something. Maybe I could just be more intentional with that rather than focusing on trying to be perfect in bio or chemistry or something. What do you think?
Trying to be perfect is difficult.
Yeah.
What do you think makes you hold the people around you to such high standards?
I wonder if it's from like before I went to came to college, because like the high school I went to was like up there, like it was up there. Like oh my goodness, we had to have like nothing less than like a 3.0 in like our semester. Like we had to be like perfect. Like they had such high standards of us. Like I had to get like a 32 minimum on my ACT, which is like not that bad at all. Like there's a higher number to do perfect, but like, and then they required of us to like, we couldn't get below like a B like in any of our classes, and so it's like that high expectation. So I think because of doing those classes with other people with that same expectation coming to college and it not being like as intense, I think that's like setting that expectation of hoping my fellow students would do the same, and maybe just mentally setting that expectation of them, but they didn't go to the same high school I did. So I think that's like where it came from. Or like my parents were also like, they put me in that school because it's a private school, and I think they also like, if I didn't get like above a 90, like my parents would have me sit down and go through my test and figure out what I did wrong to like fix it. So I think like just like trying to be perfect like at home and at school, like definitely here I think it's like come to college with me. So
So do you think that because you were held to such high standards growing up throughout your high school years by the school system that you were in and your family, that maybe now you're placing high standards on everyone around you?
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I think it's like hard because like that was like ingrained in my head, you know? Like that would make sense as to putting high expectations. And it's definitely led to like hurt of feeling like let down and just feeling like alone or feeling like a goody two shoes, like someone pointed out of like I'm Little Miss Perfect and stuff like that, just because I would be like upfront, everything out, you know, like I was trying to be perfect and um I think yeah, and then like it bothers me when someone like walks in like super late and stuff. So I definitely think like you're saying like I definitely feel like I do set those expectations. And it's only freshman year too, so I think that's like also I've just been feeling really pressured of like trying to do college perfect because being freshman, like 4 years at a university is insane and just wanting to do perfect so I can graduate and not have to stay an extra semester. Like it'd be awesome if I could graduate a year early. Like that'd be so cool. But I think just like since it's so much more money, you know, like college is expensive, you know, and like wanting to do well, like my parents sent me to this public school, you know, and like this public university and it's very different, but I think than like where I was going from a private school, but um yeah, so I think it's just like the expectation of my parents not wanting to send me off to school because they're like, oh, she's gonna do as well she did in high school without us over like watching over her or anything, and like now being at this public school and everyone's super like lackadaisical, like you were saying, and like and just now being like, oh my gosh, like what do I do? And so I think it's like definitely like first semester has been so interesting and so weird compared to high school and so hard in different ways, and like so it makes like yeah, I've definitely like set expectations of like my roommates and like everything and like my classmates, and it's just definitely caused some tension, and like my heart has been kind of like hardened in a way, and like I get kind of like annoyed or bitter even though I try to be this positive person too, so definitely been like weird.
Gabby, do you feel like you're good enough? That you're good enough to finish college and to be in these study groups?
Um, hmm. I don't know.
How does it make you feel when other people, your peers, call you Little Miss Perfect?
Like it feels like there's like two sides to it, you know, like it feels kind of nice because I'm like doing something right, but then at the same time I just feel like people don't know me, like they don't really like know what I went through in high school with like having such high standards and having such high standards at home and always having to be seen as like perfect there. So it's kind of hard when it's like that label's put on you and then like no one wants to talk to me.
What label do you think that you're putting on your study group partners?
Maybe the same ones that like my parents have put on me of like, but then because of it not being how I expected to, then like the labels have changed in a negative way, and so it's like, but that's not good because they don't know me and I don't know them very well, and I'm sure they're wonderful people, you know, like whenever I think of that, I'm like I don't feel right thinking of that in such a negative way, but I just think like because I don't know, being a freshman, and there's so many people on this campus. It's like a 40,000 person campus, and there's like 300 people in my class. So I was lucky to find like 4 people to study with, and like So it feels like kind of alone already, and someone pointing out that I'm little is perfect, then people just kind of not talk to me in general. So.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you did very well on your tests. And that's good, and I'm glad that you were able to find some people to study with. I believe we're going to meet in 2 weeks. During that time, I think it would be good for you to think about these labels that you're putting on other people and the expectations, and trying to find some ways to maybe lessen them so that it will help you socially to be able to get along a little bit better.
How would you suggest lessening them? Because it's been 4 years of this, so it's a little hard to
Well, I think you need to think about how you feel when people call you Little Miss Perfect, and how you got that label,
Yeah.
and why you think that everyone around you should be Little Mr. or Mrs. Perfect.
That's a good point. I'll look at this next week with class, and if someone says that to me, I'll really think about
Good.
why that is, and I'll let you know how it goes in 2 weeks, and I'll let you know how my tests go, and I'll do my best to really just stop myself and think about why am I saying this about this person, and try to change the label to something different.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gabby.
Yeah, thank you.